emerges from beneath the sand. Dance to take me across, seem so far away. Across this universe, she lives another day. I know the reason she takes. I know the reason she's so far away. I know the reason she takes. I know the reason she's so far away.
It's the worst.
Beyond the Texans?
Yes.
Giants?
Yes.
Pat Mahomes enters Super Bowl 59 with a chance to do something nobody has ever done in the history of the NFL. Not Montana, not Elway, none of the greats, not even the greatest, the GOAT, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. Lots of names, lots of Super Bowls. And that's to lead his team to a third straight Super Bowl championship. The once curly-haired, froggy-voiced darling of the league has now become the subject of the great Harvey Dent quote from the greatest Batman movie ever, The Dark Knight. You either die a hero or you live long enough to become a villain. No longer is the exciting new blood face of the league. He's now the annoying face we've all seen a million times. The flopper, the guy who has the refs in his pocket. In a world where we all want greatness and we all want to achieve greatness, so many love to hate those who attain it. So much so that the Philadelphia Eagles, a franchise whose fans have cheered opposing players during career-ending injuries, what up, primetime, Showtime, Irvin, and booed Santa Claus. They've become the fan choice to win. Do I hate greatness? Am I a hater? Does Drew think the refs are in the pocket of the Chiefs? Does he think greatness is worth celebrating? Find out next, right here on the Full Coverage Football Show, Big Game Bonanza. What up, my brother? How you doing tonight? Let's get this show on the road.
Good evening, my friend. Happy Super Bowl week to you. How are you?
Yes, bro. We got a great game, I think, ahead. I think I can't complain about shit right now.
Well, good.
So-
I'm glad that there's no complaints by you. I don't know, man. I just not to go ranting already, but I don't feel the ton of buzz about this Super Bowl personally. I feel like
I think a lot of
it's just not there.
It's a lot of it is because it's the Chiefs and the Eagles. We saw this 2 years ago. It's the repeat. But
Yeah,
there's a lot of fun parts of this game. I mean, we look at it. You've got that possibility of a three-peat. I mean, we saw the Bulls do it. We've seen NBA teams do it. We've seen Major League Baseball teams get close and probably pull it off. I can't remember one off the top of my head right now. I'm sure the Yankees have done it at some point.
back in like the
They've got
40s.
8 billion championships. But now we might see this in the NFL, a league based on parity, where every team has the same chance. You've got the same salary cap. Everyone has draft picks. If you suck, you get a top draft pick early in the thing, and you have a chance to win it. But the Chiefs, they've just been dominant since Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have been together. And the Eagles, this is their third Super Bowl in a decade. We've seen these teams. So let's get into previewing the game. Drew, what matchups off the bat are you looking at most importantly?
I mean, the Eagles' offensive line against that defensive line. I mean, if we break down these teams structurally by position groups, I think that you would say a majority of them clearly lean to the Philadelphia Eagles. Wide out position, running back position, offensive line position. But they don't have Patrick Mahomes. And that's clearly the difference. But I'm interested to see what the Chiefs do to slow down Saquon Barkley. They're going to have to figure something out. If you make them throw the ball, you have a better chance. But that offensive line is heralded as one of the best in the league and clearly has been. So I think that's the biggest matchup for me because Philadelphia struggles to run the ball. We got a completely different game than what most expect. So are they going to completely shut down Saquon Barkley? Certainly not. He's the best back in the league. But that matchup in the trenches is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, you look at that, and when you look at what Kansas City does on defense, they don't usually give up 100-yard rushers, especially in the playoffs. I was going to save this stat for later when we start breaking down prop bets, but Steve Spagnuolo, as a defense coordinator in 24 playoff games, only one 100-yard rusher allowed. And that's as a one person rushing for 100 yards. Last week, or 2 weeks ago with Buffalo ran for 147 yards, 85 from James Cook, who most of that game, I don't know if the Bills remembered he was on the team. And then Josh Allen had 39 of them.
Treatment. It was the Jahmyr Gibbs treatment last 2 weeks ago with you got a guy running for 8 a pop and all of a sudden he's not getting the ball. It's like you just look back at the box score and you're like, what the hell happened here, right?
And Saquon, I mean, he's been running over everyone. And he's got the benefit of finally having an offensive line that knows what they're doing. They're great. They're stout up front. And the fact that there are times where he makes it the second, almost to the third level with no one touching him because of the threat of Jalen Hurts' run ability as well. Now, when you look at both offensive lines, yes, Philadelphia way better all around. However, that interior offensive line of Kansas City with Creed Humphrey, I mean, they're pretty damn good. So
Absolutely.
what is Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis matchup against that interior line going to look like? Because if they can push the pocket, it's going to force Pat to run out of the pocket, where it's going to open up spots for Nolan Smith to possibly come and get him, or open him up to use his legs a lot more. What do you think about that matchup?
Yeah, I'm interested to see, and I may have overlooked this, but because I've been, out doing stuff this evening, but I did come across what I thought was a story of the defensive line being somewhat sick for the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, Jalen Carter and Davis, those are two hog mollies in the middle of that defense.
Absolutely.
which is super important for them. I would argue Philadelphia does a better job getting pressure on the inside of the defensive line than most teams you're going to see. Now, I understand we're still, 3 days from the Super Bowl, and maybe I just read a NBA Centel instead of Central post and got duped, but I did see something about that. Again, I think this and this is the way that you and I have talked for years on how you build things through the trenches. And I think that you see those are the teams that have elite, big fat guys on each side are the ones that typically make their way deeper into the postseason. So that's the name of the game for me. Again, it's like you look at Kansas City, it's like outside of their weapons. I mean, I know they have Hopkins. I know they have Xavier Worthy, but that's not a better wide receiver group than Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert. So it's like I'm super impressed personally that the Chiefs got here. I think that they were kind of holding on to dear life a lot of the times during the regular season. A lot of one-score wins. And so it's just a testament to how good Patrick Mahomes is. In that defense, I think the defense is very underrated and what they've been able to do. But yeah, the trenches is going to be fun to watch, and that's where the ball game is going to be won or lost, because I think it's very, very important, again, not to beat a dead horse here, but for Philadelphia to be able to run the ball early with success.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get into the offensive line for the Chiefs in a second, but you did not read anything that was fake. It wasn't Adorn Schefter or any of those. There's apparently 4 to 5 players on the Eagles that are battling illnesses ahead of the Super Bowl, says Eagles right tackle Lane Johnson. Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith are both battling flu-like symptoms, while Quinyon Mitchell reportedly has laryngitis. This was also confirmed by Vic Fangio. Now, when you bring up Vic Fangio, we'll get to him in a second, because him and Andy Reid have quite the history together, especially with Patrick Mahomes, because they've shared a division. But when you look at the Chiefs' offensive line, yeah, we know what they're going to battle. Eagles' offensive line, you're going to look at that center position. Cam Jurgens didn't start the NFC Championship game. Landon Dickerson did at center. He left the game because he was hurt. Now they've had 2 weeks to heal up, but Cam Jurgens looks like he will start at center. But if he's not 100% healthy, with a back injury, I believe is what it is, how is he going to fight against Steve Spagnuolo running twist stunts against him, and the fact that Chris Jones, as good as Jalen Carter is, as good as Jordan Davis is, Chris Jones is probably the best defensive tackle in this football game. Both these teams stout up the middle. How is he going to handle Chris Jones?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I feel like Chris Jones has been dominant for quite some time, but I feel like when you talk about some of the best nose tackle, defensive tackles in the league, I feel like his name is passed up more often than not. He's consistently been an absolute beast. It shows in the amount of times that he's been to the Super Bowl and made runs here. It's interesting to me. I think, again, when you talk about the Chiefs, that defensive line is underrated. I mean, clearly their defense at times has carried this team. And I think they're going to have to do that to an extent in this game. You talked about Mitchell, defensively for Philadelphia has been tremendous as a rookie. But yeah, I expect it's so hard, to the point you made with Jalen Hurts and the RPO and his running ability. It's so difficult to pin it on one person in the backfield there. But on the flip side too, though, it's like with Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, you don't really know what you're going to get in the backfield, because they have been very inconsistent with how they're giving carries to each of these backs in Kansas City. So you don't really know what you're going to get. I personally can see this being a Pacheco kind of game, a downhill runner in a game like this. But yeah, the Chiefs' defensive line is no slouch, and clearly not, because they're at this point. But I want to say Chris Jones, very underrated in perspective for who we talk about being some of the best defensive linemen in the league.
100%. I feel like the only time he really got recognition was when he did that one game holdout where he watched the game from the suite. That was the biggest time his name was in the media. And now we get back to Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio, former head coach of the Denver Broncos. All-time, Pat Mahomes 8-0 against him. Now that's a very I mean, you can look at that stat one of two ways. Obviously, 8-0, very good. But he faced a lot of really bad Denver Broncos teams. Let's be honest. This isn't a Denver Broncos team. This is that defense that Vic Fangio is really good at. However, when you look at the matchup, 26.95 points scored with Mahomes for Andy Reid against Vic Fangio. And Fangio's defenses in those times were averaging giving up 22.39. So he obviously is very good at scoring points against him. But his worst game statistically, when you look at some of the wins, they were terrible. He had bad games against him, but you had no one on offense for Denver. That Denver offense was terrible a lot of those times.
Yeah.
Now, overall, Andy Reid and Vic Fangio, when you look all the way back to 1997, when you can look at all these stats, pretty solid matchups, but Andy Reid has always had the better outcome. Now, Andy Reid's one of the greatest head coaches of all time.
I was just going to segue into that. You know, if Andy Reid wins a couple more championships with Kansas City, which I don't think you're going to tell me it's not possible. Where at what point do we start to get into a discussion of Bill Belichick type echelon as far as Andy Reid's gone? Because Andy Reid, whether it be Philadelphia or Kansas City, I mean, it's super impressive. And we always say, you know, Belichick's the GOAT, but with the way that this kind of machine's cooking, and if you get to 3 in a row, I think it's a discussion that probably should be happening and it should be made. And I also think they're completely different coaches. I mean, Andy Reid seems a little bit more of a laid back kind of guy. I mean, so does anybody when it growing up Bill Belichick. But what do you think as far as like if they win 2 more here? I think Andy Reid has got to be in the conversation with one of the best head coaches that's you know graced us in this league.
I think the argument in that will help Andy Reid is the fact that he has done this in 2 different places.
Correct.
He didn't win the Super Bowl, but he took the Philadelphia Eagles, 4 straight NFC championship games and 1 Super Bowl. And maybe if Donovan McNabb doesn't throw up on the field and Terrell Owens isn't playing with a broken leg, maybe they win that game. But Andy Reid's done it multiple places. Obviously, it took Pat Mahomes and his greatness to bring him over the hump. But he's reinventing himself every year. When you look at what Alex Smith was, what Donovan McNabb was, 2 different kind of players, different offense, but he keeps growing the offense. And right now, this team isn't winning on offense. They're winning with their defense. But he's also always kept great coaches around him. When you look at his original coaching staff with the Philadelphia Eagles, the depth of that coaching tree is far superior than anything Belichick's ever put out. And that is another spot where it will help Andy Reid's legacy.
Yeah, it's really a great point because it is the NFL's changed and offenses have gotten, or you know, the refs have gone way softer on offenses and you know, given the ability for teams to move up down the field. Andy Reid has done a wonderful job of molding it on a year-to-year basis differently to what is the new NFL, what are new offenses looking like. And I'm not saying that Bill Belichick didn't have that ability to kind of to pivot, but that's exactly what Andy Reid's done. I mean, Bill Belichick kind of ran and I also think that's another reason to your point where when you look at coaching trees, being able to adapt is maybe one of the reasons that Andy Reid's coaching trees had more success than Belichick's kind of, you know, constantly on his players. We're doing it like this. We're running it like a Navy SEAL type organization. And I think that's even more impressive when you're a guy like Andy Reid that's won everywhere. For you to be able to step back and understand that, hey, listen, the game's moving in this direction. What do I need to do to adapt to that and continue to be successful? And he's done it as good as anybody.
100%. And while we're talking to that, let's move on to coaching strategies. We look at these 2 matchups. Obviously, offense, defense, that's a big key. But one coaching strategy that I think is going to come in handy in this game and going to make a huge difference is how good Kansas City is on special teams with Dave Toub.
They're great.
Field position. Who would you rather have kick a field goal for you right now? Harrison Butker, Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott has been consistent in the past, but not this year.
Weird kicker year, by the way. Weird kicker year.
Butker's had some issues this year as well, but he's missed some. And you're 100% right. Every kicker didn't make sense. I mean, you had what?
60-yarder misses a 30-yarder.
Yeah. Detroit had great field goal kicking. Cleveland this year, my team, as we talk our teams, You signed a guy last year, Dustin Hopkins, who was great, and then he was terrible this year. Couldn't kick 27
Yeah.
yards. Very weird. But for this, what's a coaching strategy you see? Like I brought up the special teams. What's a coaching strategy you see that's going to really swing the game possibly?
I mean, Kansas City's going to sell out on the run. They have to. They have to. Jalen Hurts, to me, is a fraud quarterback when asked to throw 30-plus times a game. They're going to have to sell it on the run. That's their best chance of winning this football game, is to make Jalen Hurts step back and throw the football. And I'm not saying he's not capable of doing so. Don't get me wrong there.
So 2 years ago in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, like he's good enough to do so. But when you become one-dimensional, and if they can make them somewhat one-dimensional, and what I mean by that, if Kansas City gets out to some sort of a lead and kind of changes the ability to run the ball for the Philadelphia Eagles, everything changes. So to me, it's all about just selling out to stop the run. If Jalen Hurts is going to beat us in the Super Bowl, then so be it. But we're not letting Saquon Barkley do so.
You're 100% right on there, where you're going to see run blitzes. Everyone talks about how people blitz, and it's usually something they do against pass.
17-man box.
Yeah, you're going to see different kind of run blitzes from Spags, and Spags knows when to dial it up. And that's what might change this game, is these two defense coordinators know when to dial up pressure at the right time. It's going to be an interesting matchup for that. Now, we've talked coaching strategies. We've talked matchups. Who's an X factor for either team that you could see making plays in this game that maybe people aren't really looking at right now?
Well, I mean, I want you to look back at the Super Bowl and what Devontae Smith did. Now, Devontae Smith has been relatively under the radar lately, especially with the A.J. Brown reading a book, and we need to get A.J. Brown the ball. But Devontae Smith had a massive game in the previous Super Bowl. And I think on the other side of the ball, the speed, it's Xavier Worthy, right? That's the X factor to me. Travis Kelce's old now, right? He's old. He's lost a step. He's not the same guy, which is fine. He's still productive. Not going to sit here and rip him. He always seems to show up in big games. But I think when they got Xavier Worthy and the ability to kind of rip the top off, he's their gadget guy. He's able to kind of get involved in some jet sweeps and, some wide receiver reverses, things like that. That's my X factor offensively. But I could also say Isaiah Pacheco. But it's so hard because I don't know. Like, Isaiah Pacheco runs like he's getting chased to be murdered. And it's just, but it's sometimes for me, it's like they go the Kareem Hunt route, which it's been successful. So I'm more confident in a Xavier Worthy big game. And I think he's that guy. People could argue DeAndre Hopkins, and I get it. He's the veteran, but I think that the X factor is if Xavier Worthy can get in space, he's the guy that can change this game.
Yeah, you brought up Devontae, and Devontae I was going to bring up later when we talk about the props. Devontae in 3 games versus the Chiefs, 99, 100, and 122 yards. And in games where Philadelphia is an underdog, 70-plus yards in every single game.
And he's been completely quiet. I mean, I don't want to say completely quiet, but like he's been quiet throughout the playoffs.
He just goes out there and makes plays.
Yeah, he's just a guy that I think is has the ability to get the ball, and he's been consistent against top talent, like to your point, and we saw it in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. So he's my guy. Offense. Everybody wants to say Saquon Barkley. This is an under radar guy. I want to say Devontae Smith's under the radar, but no.
But when you look at it, everyone's talking Goddard, everyone's talking AJ Brown, everyone's talking Saquon, Jalen Hurts. For me, I look at, you talked about 2 of the Chiefs running backs. I'm talking about their closer as an X factor. Samaje Perine, a guy who doesn't get a lot of pub, but they're not going to be able to run the football. They're going to play a short passing game a lot of times.
He's also very well more capable out of the backfield in the passing game than the other 2 are.
And that's where it's huge. His over-under on receiving yards right now, 7.5. We'll talk more about that later. But the bigger X factor for me is a guy that used to play for the Chiefs, left the Chiefs, and now is back. And we thinking, okay, DeAndre Hopkins has got to be that guy who they're going to use a lot of times. DeAndre Hopkins hasn't done anything in 4 or 5 games for them.
Correct.
Juju Smith-Schuster has proven to be their slot receiver, their third receiver, who I think is going to do a lot of things in this Super Bowl that's going to surprise people. He's my surprise, maybe bold prediction X factor on a guy who could have a pretty solid game because he's been there before. Pat trusts him. And Philadelphia we saw that there's a guy that they lose. It's usually a guy who's in the slot or over the middle. Look what Zach Ertz did. Didn't have a lot of yards, had a shit ton of catches.
It's a
And you
great
know
point
they're going to.
with Slay and Mitchell, like kind of
Mhm.
locking down the outside. The guy in the middle may be that guy. I mean, Mitchell and Darius Slay's getting old. Quinton Mitchell has been so good for them,
Him and
and he's a
Cooper DeJean
MAC
both.
guy, and he's a rookie. Like, it's impressive what he's been able to do. And Philadelphia just says, "F it, go out there and guard a guy." They didn't try to protect this guy all season long. And I'm not comparing him to Terry and Arnold, but it's similar what the Lions did. They say, "Hey, buddy, you're just going to go out and play man, and you're probably going to get your ass kicked for a long time. You might have some penalties." But like, that's what they've done, and they've allowed him to kind of grow into the position. And I'll tell you what, Quinyon Mitchell has as much confidence as any corner in football right now, and that's it's
100%.
rightfully so.
Let's move on to our bold predictions. What's a random bold prediction you have for this game?
I think there'll be a defensive touchdown.
Okay.
Is what I will say.
That.
I think there'll be a defensive touchdown.
I was thinking that, or special teams, big punt return or something. Who's winning this football game? And the score.
Here's where I'm at with it. Philadelphia is the better team. Philadelphia has the better offensive line. They have the better, wide receiver group. They have the better running back. But the other team's got Patrick Mahomes. And they also might have the Zebras. And I do. Here's one that
I hate the zebra thing. I hate it so much.
I'm not that guy, right? I'm not going to be the guy that puts it out, but I mean, I'm watching the Texans in game, and Will Anderson doesn't even graze the guy's face, and it's 15 yards, and it's like, when does this stop? And Patrick Mahomes also has become, and this is within the rules, so I don't want to make this out to be. He's kind of become the James Harden of the NFL. And I'm not saying if it's the rules and you can get a flag, then that's the NFL needs to figure that out. That's not you.
He knows that's exactly what he's doing.
With all that being said, I like the Chiefs to get the first penalty.
Okay. Is there a prop bet on that one?
Yeah, minus 105. Minus 105.
All right. I like that one.
But I think you've heard the narrative for the last 2 weeks. You've heard the narrative in all these interviews and Rich Eisen and McAfee and how the refs are certainly in favor of the Chiefs. I wouldn't be surprised where you get out, the Chiefs get an early penalty, and everybody kind of puts that to rest. We can sit around watching football.
If I didn't see Deshaun Watson get a phantom roughing the passer call multiple times, I'd be more towards leaning that way. But nobody likes that fucking guy. But when I think of the Chiefs getting calls,
hang on though.
Go ahead.
The play in the AFC Championship game that was an interception or an incomplete pass that turned out to be a reception. I was thinking, all right, now that one seemed a little like you're pushing it a little. Do you not agree? That was crazy that was called.
It was a terrible call.
It was.
I mean, we see a lot of terrible calls. And my thing is, Chiefs, they probably get the benefit of the doubt. They're like the golden child. You probably
they're in their third straight Super Bowl, though, Jeremy.
They're good.
Yeah.
We're going to give you the benefit of the doubt. And my other thing is that I've been arguing with people like Browns fans, especially because I deal with so many of those idiots because I am one. We say poorly coached teams commit more penalties, right?
Correct.
So we say Andy Reid's one of the greatest head coaches of all time. So you, by that thinking, you'd think, okay, his teams would be better prepared and commit less. That's my only thing with it.
Give me the NBA logic, right? Like, the superstars are going to have a favorable whistle. They've earned that. They've proved that. And so I don't think it's the refs trying to sway the Chiefs to win one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I also think at some point you've earned the benefit of the doubt. And if there's going to be a 50-50 call, it may go in favor of the Chiefs more than it doesn't. But this is the NFL. Go kick the other team's ass and don't make it down to a penalty here, a penalty there. I'm so tired of this. You get people on Twitter, I'm going to send this to the NFL officiating office. It's like, it's like, this was a hold. Look at this. It's like, stop doing this. Like NFL games don't come down to a hold here or a hold there. Yes. Could they certainly be an integral part in the game where you go from a first down to a touchdown to where you're backed up and have to punt, absolutely. But games aren't decided on 1 or 2 plays. We play 60 minutes for a reason.
Yep.
And I don't like the narrative. I'm never going to like a narrative that insinuates that pro sports, or especially my favorite thing in the world, the NFL, is rigged.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do it. I get there's people that are always going to complain about the refs, and I get that the refs are going to screw up. It's a job. I mess up at my job all the time. It's just the way it is. But it's like, let's not do this. Because what's going to happen is when the Eagles lose, there's going to be the assholes on Philadelphia. Because let's be honest, Philadelphia fan base, they don't take anything lightly, right? They're going to be fired up if they lose. They're going to say, "Oh, look at this hold here," and it's like, I don't want to do that. Like, if we're going to let that you think that the refs are manipulating the games, you've lost what the beauty of sports is.
Yep.
And I don't want to lose that beauty of sports, and I don't think we're there yet. Again, you go to 3 straight Super Bowls, yeah, you might earn the whistle over a team
Get
that
the
has
benefit of the doubt.
Exactly.
And one more thing before we move on from this, because we did not plan on talking refs, but that's what we do here. We go on rants, and it all makes sense in the end. Buffalo, you played a hell of a game, but when you have a 6'5" running quarterback, you should be able to get 1 yard. That's it.
Buddy, the 2 step to the left, slide to the left. Like he was doing like, I don't understand why their QB sneak is a snap the ball, kind of move over to the left a little bit, and then try to dive.
Hit the A gap.
There's a blueprint. Philadelphia has the blueprint.
Everyone says, the tush push. You can't stop it. Then why doesn't everyone do it?
Yeah.
You can't. They're good at it. You're not. Move on.
But the Bills.
Give me a final score of this game.
Josh Allen's got it. I would say the final score of this game is 34. That's a lot of points. 34-27 Kansas City.
Okay. And who's the MVP? Pat? All right, give me a random MVP other than Pat.
I will say Xavier Worthy.
I like that. See, I was thinking about this. When it comes to, like, if Travis Kelce has a great game, if Xavier Worthy has a great game, Juju, Pat's getting the benefit of it. He's going to be MVP. Right. Unless Xavier Worthy has like 4 50-yard catches, and it's all on Yak.
But that's the thing. If it comes close with Mahomes or Kelce, either one of those are going to. If Kelce goes for 90 and 2 tutties, it's going to be him or Mahomes. It's going to be hard for. I bet Justin Watson to win MVP is probably like 7,000 to 1.
Yeah. So speaking of the secondary, my random bold prediction, random throw out a guy for MVP was Trent McDuffie, because you said defensive touchdown. I was thinking maybe he gets a defensive touchdown, a pick. You know, Jalen gets blitz. He hasn't had a lot of turnovers. Had 7 in the first 5 games, 3 since. He's been really good. Maybe he gets that. Maybe they throw a Hail Mary at the end. He ends up with 2 interceptions.
Which is why he hasn't turned it over anymore.
Yeah. And he's been pretty good. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. My final score, though, 29-26 Chiefs. Now, storylines. Who does a loss in this game hurt more? The Chiefs and Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, or the Eagles, Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts?
I think it's just Jalen Hurts that gets the brunt of this, man. And I'm the biggest – I don't think Jalen Hurts is a top 10 quarterback. And then you could call me crazy, and I get that. He's in the Super Bowl again. It's hard to it's hard to sit here and have this take, but what the hell's Patrick Mahomes got to prove, man? He loses. He got back to a Super Bowl. It was going for a 3-peat.
Back next year. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Like, he's got nothing to prove. I think this is big for Jalen Hurts. I think Nick Sirianni is also a douchebag, which is hard to root for him too. But like, I think that this one would be big for Jalen Hurts. I just hate these teams, man. I just hate them. And
I get it.
But it's the Super Bowl, and I'm excited about it. But it's like, damn, it's just. I don't know if I'd rather Philadelphia win, but like at the same time, I'm not a hater. Like, I want to see greatness too. Like, winning 3 in a row is
answers the question we started the show with right there.
It's greatness, man. Like, I'm not going to hate on greatness. Yeah, I hate greatness, but I'm not going to hate on it.
We all hated Michael Jordan because he won 3 in a row. Then he retires, comes back, wins 3 in a row. It sucked. But guess what? That's greatness.
Yeah.
The air, Now
And
he's
I
the
think it's
heir,
important as a sports
HEIR.
fan to recognize when you're watching it because it
Yep.
doesn't come around very often.
Like we all hated the Patriots, but guess what? Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback to ever play the football game.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm also with you on it being Jalen Hurts because you look at Jalen Hurts. He lost a natty against Clemson. Next natty, he gets benched at halftime. Tua leads them to a victory. Then he loses a Super Bowl. He's always been runner-up. This is a big game for him and his legacy eventually. Now, should the Chiefs be the favorite in this game? We already said it. Better roster by far.
It is.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia's got a way better roster, but what they don't have is a better
Howie
head
Roseman
coach
has
and they don't have a
built
better
3
quarterback.
different teams that are really damn good. So
Yeah.
should they be the favorite?
No, Kansas City's favorite. Kansas City, it should be a pick 'em, is what it should be, in my honest opinion. I think that these are two very evenly, matched teams. This isn't where you saw the Patriots play the Giants and the Giants be 13.5-point dogs back in the Eli days. That's just not what this is. But again, you can't not make the 2-time reigning champion quarterback and Kansas City Chiefs not the favorite in this. And again, I think in these games, especially with 2 weeks off, Jeremy, I think that this allows the better coaches to really put their blueprint on things. You're prepping for a team for 2 weeks, and Steve Spagnuolo and Andy Reid are damn good, and I expect them to come out with a game plan that probably throws the Eagles off. And I really do think that the extra prep time is super important, especially when you have an elite coach that is focused on doing the right things and having his team ready.
100% with you. And a guy who's been to 5 Super Bowls as a head coach is going to know how to prepare your team for that 32 to 36 minute halftime.
And a lot of that team's been there,
Yep.
that's it. But I get the Eagles have to an extent. Like that core of the Chiefs, they know what they're getting into. They know how to pace themselves throughout this week. They know how to not overexert themselves in media. Things like this seem stupid to most people. But when you're in your first Super Bowl, you're trying to do everything you can to enhance the experience. You want to be on these shows. You want to be talking to people.
Yep.
But it's like you have to balance doing all these shows and podcasts with like, what's the game plan here? And I think that although, again, the Eagles have been in this position, that core group in Kansas City knows what to do and they know how to go about this week. And I think it's very, very normal and very calm for them in that locker room right now.
100% with you. Now we're about halfway through our show here. We're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk a little something different. We're going to talk about the best halftime shows. You've got Prince in the Rain in Miami. A few years later, you've got J-Lo and Shakira. As a big fan of asses, I was a fan of that one.
That's
also in
just the Kids and
Miami.
Ass show, which I'm all in about. I'm all in for, but I don't know if we can say it's the greatest.
No, but it was pretty fun to watch.
I didn't know
remember a
Shakira
song
could
they
still
did.
do those things. I didn't know she was.
Yeah.
No one had seen her in 10 years, and she
No.
just popped out. It's like, oh, there she is.
Damn,
God,
I enjoyed this one. We had Tom Petty in Phoenix, Bruno Mars in New York City. We had the Left Shark with Katy Perry, which I also think was in Miami. We had Dre and Eminem in LA with Snoop and the boys. I mean, that was a good one. I mean, we've come a long way since University of Arizona and the Grambling Marching Band.
Janet Jackson.
Janet was part of the
Justin Timberlake.
The ripoff with Justin Timberlake, where she dealt with all the shit, and his star has done nothing but rise until he got the Dewey, and then the world tours over, and it's all over.
Dude, I will say this: celebrity DUI like body cams, elite. Just they're so good, dude. I watched Michael Jordan's the other day.
I didn't get to see that one.
He got arrested for DUI, and here's the thing: he got arrested with a bunch of cocaine too. Like his car was like in a ditch for a long time. Like ditch the cocaine, dude. Like what are we doing? And then there was like 6 girls in the car, and he was just like, "I'm Michael Jordan's son." And the guy's like, "I don't give a shit, dude." They're so.
You always you either get the ones who are like, "Don't you know who I am?" or the ones who are like, "My life is over. It's the worst thing ever." Mm-hmm. Speaking of Michael Jackson changed the game in '93 when he started being the big show. And what it has become now. Drew, what's the best halftime performance?
I don't know, man. I honestly, here's what I'm gonna say is the NFL needs to stop putting trash halftime performance out. This one's gonna be trash. Kendrick Lamar.
I'm excited for Kendrick Lamar.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay, buddy. Sit down. Here's the deal. The rap
5
folks,
Grammys.
The rap folks, they sound like shit in like live Super Bowl. Like it's garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Garbage. Give me Tom Petty. Rest in peace.
I wish Tom Petty could do it. I love Tom Petty.
Who's dead?
Tom Petty. You know what? Damn it! Give us the hologram Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Two old white guys.
AI Tom Petty.
I want the Tom Petty. I'm so sick. I can't understand a word this guy is saying.
That's me.
What is he saying? But yeah,
I mean,
for me,
it's just like I hate that the rap ones to me suck. Like I don't need 50 Cent hanging upside down. Like I just don't need it in my life.
I was cool with that because that was like my era of rap. I was like,
Mine
I
too.
felt like I was 19 again, man. I'm like, go, shorty. I was loving it. And then I'm like, my kids are looking at me like, what are we listening to the oldies for? Like that's my music, man. Like
they said 50 Cent was the oldies.
The oldies. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
They also play like Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains on the oldies stage.
Okay, and if they want to say that's oldies, I'm all aboard. But 50 Cent.
50 Cent's oldies, man. Like Get Rich or Die Trying came out 22 years ago.
So good.
It's been a long time. But for me, the greatest performance in the Super Bowl halftime was Prince playing Purple Rain in the rain. That was phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now Kendrick. Right. Like, I'm excited to see Kendrick. I know a few songs.
Like, do you know any Kendrick Lamar songs?
Humble, DNA,
Those
Not
are the
Like
only
Us.
I'm not putting you. That was actually pretty damn good.
Pools. I know another one because I played on Beat Saber.
Okay. All right.
That's about it.
No, so working on it. You got no working. Good.
I mean,
good shit, dude.
I know people were getting.
Hang on. How was Lil Wayne not the headliner?
Lil Wayne, there's something going on with him. I don't know if I don't remember
what
it was. Somebody was trying to tell me. Like Lil Wayne was supposed to do it one year, I think.
Well, but
Weezy also. I mean, Weezy. They also don't pay him. That's the thing. They don't pay these guys. These are all doing it for free.
He does have that coke habit that he needs.
Yeah, and the scissor. Wasn't he always sipping on the scissor?
Dude, but Lil Wayne was. I just want Kanye to come do it, dude. Let 2026 unhinged Kanye get out there.
Is he gonna bring his wife dressed as she was at the Grammys?
She'll just be naked completely.
Bro,
she was basically naked at the Grammys.
She takes that coat off and she's wearing a see-through saran wrap dress and pulls down the bottom to cover her ass.
Dude, my wife was
Bitch, you're naked.
My wife was very fired up about this. She didn't say anything to me, but I saw her on Twitter. And like she was like posting like on comments like every like 3 minutes. She's like, they should be arrested, and like she was real fired up about it, dude.
There was a picture of somebody's kid like peeking around the corner, like goddamn, like
kid had the best day of his life.
Like, okay, like that's crazy.
It is weird. It is weird, but like Kanye might not even sing a song. He might just get up there and just go unhinged. Kanye doesn't care if you pay him or not.
No.
He didn't. I think that would.
You just hear the background music, like it'll just be the DJ playing. You like hear Jamie Foxx will come out and start singing the hook to Gold Digger, and then Kanye just stands there.
It would be sick though, wouldn't it? Though, like a gold, like Kanye for the kids at home, because clearly your kids think we're old. Like the high school and college dropout albums and stuff, people don't understand how
Through the Wire, one of the most phenomenal rap songs ever, because he literally rapped it through a wire with his jaw shut.
Got in that car accident. Yeah. I know way too much about Kanye than I should. Anyway, sorry about that, but yeah, Kanye, 2029 Kanye, he might just be a fucking AI robot at that. Oh, excuse me, an AI robot.
Pretty badass. Speaking of crazy people, let's move on to our next segment and get back to the football game, gambling. Crazy people gambling. I got some prop bets here. You look at Juju. I talked about him earlier. Third wide receiver. His original receiving prop, 12.5 yards. Then it moved to 17.5. It's now sitting at 20.5 the last time I looked at it. I don't have it updated.
Did you
it's rising.
That? You didn't get shit on that.
No. I got a whole bunch of them. We'll go over them here.
What? I wanted them 4 days ago. Clearly, what do you mean, dude?
I forgot about that one. I'm like, I had a Juju Smith taking a dump moment.
Bro's like,
And
I'm
like,
gonna give
this
you
is the
all
time.
these lines that I had 4 days ago that are no longer that.
All the rest of them, I think, are the same
Okay,
right
all
now.
right.
My other one, Samaje Perine, over 7.5 receiving yards. The closer. He's probably getting 2 or 3 catches. I think that one hits. Pat Mahomes, over 5.5 rushes. How you feel on that one? Keep in
Not
mind
great.
kneel downs.
Yeah, well, that's true. I don't know. I guess at 3.5, you said? It's the attempts, not the
5.5.
yards?
5.5.
Oh,
Rush
5.5?
attempts.
That seems aggressive to me. You like 5.5?
I do, because I think that pocket's going to get pushed up the middle, and I think he's going to have to run out of it every now and then. And I think man to man, those guys are going to be covered. Jalen Hurts, over 8.5 rushing attempts.
Yes. That's a lot, but he's terrified to throw the football. So
now his rushing total, over under 39.5.
Under.
I'm giving him the Riley Leonard treatment as well. Over on the attempts, under on the yards.
Yeah.
Now, Pat, there's a minus 125. We're talking about solid money here. By the way, Pat Surtain, Defensive Player of the Year. Jalen Daniels, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Shock.
Yeah. I don't think there's any shock there, right?
No, not at all.
God,
Pat Mahomes, 25 plus.
Pat Surtain won Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. Okay.
I mean, I thought it might
I
go
saw
to him.
that Miles won like the one from the elementary school Player of the Year.
Yeah, which is cool. And Miles, I have some information for you. I'm not going to talk about on the show just yet.
You see that picture I sent you?
Did, and it has something to do with that picture on a text I received earlier today that I was going to bring up to you a little later here. Very interesting on Miles, and fuck it. You'll hear about it. We'll talk about it next week.
He's gone on every podcast known to man these last couple of days.
Hey, I don't blame him, but Browns still say they're not going to trade him. We'll talk more about that next week, hopefully. Patrick Mahomes, 25 plus passing yards in each quarter. Minus 125.
I get it. Look, I'm going to say this. I'm in on it. But those specials, bro. Those specials, there's always they always like, you're always like, oh, you mean I'll put my mortgage on this.
Yeah.
And then they don't hit. Speaking of mortgage, let me say read off this from NFL memes, right?
Uh-huh.
The Treasury Department just needs to put 70 trillion on Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown, and we'll be out of this mess.
Listen, I feel like you put that on Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. I'm higher on that than I am Saquon.
All right. Well,
I feel like I think it's like
US
minus
Treasury,
105.
Yeah,
listen, Elon, come on. You're using that new Department of Government
all that money that they were blowing on stupid shit, just roll it over, dude.
Take the Velcro money.
Let's build a parlay.
The $1 million you did for the Velcro sound therapy, whatever it was, put it on Saquon or on Jalen Hurts anytime, Tud. I like it. Samaje Perine, the over 7.5, that hits 93% of the time in the last 17 games.
I'm betting it right now.
Dallas Goedert, 5.5 receptions is the line I saw yesterday. I believe it has gone down. I was under on that one because that's only 23% of the time that's hit. Yeah, he's supposed to have a good game. But we both talked about Devontae Smith being a bigger matchup. And that right now, Devontae Smith sits at over under 52.5. And as we said, 3 games versus the Chiefs, 99, 100, and 122.
I'm looking at it right now, Jeremy. So over 4.5 Devontae Smith catches is plus money on FanDuel.
You feel like he should hit that, right? It should be 5 at least.
Yeah. I think 6. I think over 5.5 was probably the right number, and I think that them giving plus money at over 4.5 is nice. I mean, let's hit on Juju Smith-Schuster for a second, because this is clearly if you're betting Juju Smith-Schuster, you're betting this. So the over/under is at 1.5 for receptions. Okay, so if you're gonna bet the receiving prop, that you're gonna bet that, because the Juju Smith-Schuster prop is at 16.5. So
16.5 now. That line has moved all around this week.
Yep. So if you go with the Juju Smith-Schuster combo, you're at plus 106. You're plus money. All you need is 2 catches and 17 yards, baby.
And that should hit. But then again, the Chiefs. Like people are putting money on Pacheco to do a lot of things, and then they went Kareem Hunt. Is this a DeAndre Hopkins game? I don't think it is. So I'm taking that. I will be betting that.
Whoa.
Where are you at on Goddard? Over under 5.5. Like you think he gets 5 catches?
Do me a favor, buddy. You want to pull? Can you pull up your FanDuel for me? Because I'm showing DeAndre Hopkins over 1.5 catches at
that was
plus
money
126.
Yeah. They're not using him, man. They have not used him.
It's 2 catches, bro.
It is. But what did he do against Buffalo?
I mean, all right, fine. I just think that's crazy.
It is because we look at him as DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, that's true.
Now he's like DeAndre Hopkins.
All right, but I am
DeAndre
betting
Hopkins.
The Juju Smith-Schuster parlay right now.
Okay, Juju
over
against
10.5 yards and over 1.5.
Juju against the Bills, 2 catches, 60 yards. DeAndre Hopkins, 1 catch, 11 yards.
Yeah, but here's the deal, and I'm going to convince you to take this bet with me. Okay, DeAndre Hopkins is a veteran, a stud in his first Super Bowl.
Yep.
Right. This dude's played for shit teams for a long time. Huh? He also came in immediately and was very beneficial. Was getting the ball a ton. Yes, they may have changed things up in the last, throughout the playoffs, but you're given 2 weeks, and all I need is 2 catches from DeAndre Hopkins. I gotta say that he's catching 2 balls.
That's worth a sprinkle. For sure.
I'm about to spend like $150 right here.
It's worth a sprinkle. Mahomes over 35.5 pass attempts.
How many? I'm sorry. I'm over here betting. 35.5?
Yeah.
Under.
No. I lean over on that. And why do I lean over on that? All 4 Super Bowls, Mahomes has found himself with a double-digit deficit. He's won 3. Only 7 double-digit deficit wins in Super Bowl history. He has 3 of them. So if they're behind and they can't run the football, that's where that one could hit.
Yeah. I agree.
That's a big number.
It is.
That's a big number, but if they're not running the football...
bro, I don't know why I'm seeing this in my mind.
He only had 26 against the Bills.
I can see a low-scoring game.
Yeah. It was 41-38 last time, but this isn't the same teams at all.
See, this is the problem, dude. Let me present the real problem to the people. We got 3 days before the Super Bowl. I'm going to have so many bets that I'm going to be betting against my guys. I'll probably bet a dude over receptions, bet a dude under receptions.
It's like being in too many fantasy football leagues.
Yeah, and it's like when I'm watching the game, I'm like, I don't even know what to root for.
And that's why we're talking this through right now, brother.
See, here's what I enjoy, and you tell me if this is different. This is my betting, what I like. I like to bet a single dude for $25, $30. And I'll bet the receiving prop in the yards, or the receptions prop and the yards prop. I got one dude to focus on, especially in a game like this. That's the kind of, when I'm watching a game and I'm betting, that's what I enjoy, because I only have one dude that I need to do things. Ladd McConkey in the playoffs. Thank you.
Ladd McConkey week was fantastic.
Tons of money. Yeah, because I had him over 7 receptions, and it was playing, and people were like, that's crazy. But it was Ladd McConkey game.
So Saquon just won Offensive Player of the Year, by the way. So in this game, who's that one guy you're really high on? It sounds like we're both high on that same guy, and he plays for the Eagles, but it's not A.J. Brown, who kills man coverage, who we haven't even talked about. It's not Saquon, who everyone's really high on, the 111 yards rushing. Yeah, we brought up that Spags has only allowed one 100-yard rusher in 24 playoff games. It's not Dallas Goedert, who everyone says is going to eat up over the middle and have a ton of catches. Is that player Devontae Smith?
See, here's the deal. I'm also not a person that wants to come on here and say, "Oh, Scotty Scheffler's winning this golf tournament." Well, he's the greatest golfer in the world. So, I'm not going to come and say,
I'm glad you brought golf up, because I got a good question for you in a second.
All right, I got you. But I'm not going to just pick AJ. I think that's dumb and boring. if you're picking MVP for the game, for an example, you're not picking Mahomes or Hurts. Like you have to do something with value. So for me, it's Devontae Smith. I've also I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I've also reversed what I've been saying because I'm like, I don't think Jalen Hurts can throw the ball. But here I am saying Devontae Smith's going to go Calvin against the Cowboys on him. But I just think that, like, if there's one that Jalen Hurts has the ability for somebody to be productive, and I think that's going to be Devontae Smith.
And speaking of Jalen Hurts, my next one here, before I tie it back into golf, Hurts, his over-under earlier this week was 199.5 passing yards. It's now up to 211. So you can do an alt line and get over 200 plus. In 7 games where he's had Barkley, Goddard, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith healthy, in those 7 games, 4 of those times he's been over 200 yards. More than half the time. So you could tie that one in. Saquon, over under 21.5 rushing attempts.
I'd hammer this if I didn't see what I just saw out of the Lions and the Bills. Like, in Nick Sirianni is also a wild card to me. Like you would think that, like, you would just continue with the run. Like, neither of the Lions in Buffalo were never in a position where they couldn't just keep running the ball. I get afraid that people go, against this. And it's also a problem again is if Kansas City gets up early, I think that's a high number. I really do, especially seeing I can see it around 18. I'm just going to pass on it. I mean, if I could pick anything, I'd probably take the under. But
he said over in 2 of 3 because he's had 25 yards in 2 of those 3. However, I'm with you on that factor. And I'm also under on his 111 rushing yards.
It's that you see these lines they're getting Genty crazy. They're getting Ashton Genty crazy.
But I was intrigued by the plus 150 number for 50 yards in both halves for Saquon.
Well,
because he can get 50 in the first half, get up to 50, and then lose some maybe. But I don't know. It's tough because that 100-yard number.
I'd be more comfortable at $1.25, 125 receiving and reception, or receiving and rushing. That's something
I don't throw him the ball enough.
Yeah,
but when they do, something great happens.
Just give him the ball. I with all due respect to Kenneth Gainwell, this is the Super Bowl. Saquon Barkley's touching it.
Not well.
As many times as I can get him to touch it.
Saquon gains well. Kenneth gains okay. Now, you still have FanDuel pulled up?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you a crazy question to tie it in with golf. What is, let's say you take the Chiefs on the money line. What is Chiefs on the money line sitting at right
Minus 120.
Okay. So, I mean, is that juice you really want to go for? You want to put decent money on it at minus 120? Now, tie it in with, can you parlay that together with, let's say, Wyndham Clark winning the Waste Management Open?
I can.
Which also ends on Sunday?
Correct.
Okay. You could do that.
Oh, you got more?
Those odds are crazy, right?
Basically almost 15 to 1.
Okay. That'd be kind of fun. But does FanDuel, I know DraftKings does it because I bet on it today. Do they also allow anyone but Scotty Scheffler basically you're basically betting on who's going to finish in second because Scotty Scheffler's so damn good?
Yeah.
Which is going to bring down your odds.
They have to have a market.
Also improve your odds of actually winning.
Winner without Scotty.
Okay.
So that brings you. Oh, yeah. I don't think you could parlay the winner without Scotty. But that would put you at 11 to 1.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun if you can do it. If you can do it on DraftKings or BetMGM or
you may be able to do it on DraftKings.
That could be a fun way to double your pleasure, double your fun.
True,
but
I actually cashed Scotty Scheffler. I cashed a Scotty Scheffler ticket 2 Super Bowls ago at the Waste Management. I think it was actually like one of his first, maybe it was 3 years ago. It was like one of his first wins. And like I've been betting him every week, and he would come in like second. And then once he won, now he's of course the best golfer in the world. Dude, do you know he was plus 260 to win this year pre-tournament?
Yeah, that
plus
seems
260.
It seems unfair. Guys fucking get it. That's all I got. There's my golf analysis right there. That guy, fucking good. When you got bets basically for second place, you're pretty damn good. Any other game props or bets you want to talk about?
So I took yesterday, and it's not on the book anymore, so I don't necessarily. But it was
Thanks for that text, buddy.
Justin Watson over 1 receiving yard.
Yeah.
So that was a bet I liked. I also saw
I hit a lot on him in the regular season. Yeah, that was a good bet.
Yeah, I also like the Dotson the receptions prop. It's at geez. Yeah. So would be another parlay. So his receptions at 0.5, the over-unders at 0.5, and the receptions is at 3.5. So you would think if he's going to catch a ball, he's probably going to catch it for 4 yards.
Yeah, I like that, but I played that last time they played against Washington, and I also played Kenneth Gainwell over 8.5 rushing yards before he got a concussion with 8 yards, and I played those two together and won $0. But I like that because I think they're going to throw more in this game. They were up so much they stopped basically throwing the ball, and Kenny Pickett ended that game.
What about Noah Gray? My last one. Noah Gray over 11.5 receiving yards.
I think Noah Gray could definitely hit that because there are games where they use Travis Kelce as a decoy so many times in this offense.
Noah Gray, there'll be games Noah Gray gets Noah Gray. Sorry, no. He gets tons of volume, and it's like, but it's like with Kansas City, you can't we talked about Pacheco and Hunt and even Perine. It's like you don't really know what they're going to do, and that's of course what makes them great and makes them a complete nightmare for defensive coordinators.
But on a low number like that for a guy who could have a big impact, why not sprinkle a couple bucks on it?
Yeah,
I mean, just throw something at it.
I think I'm going to sprinkle all my dollars on everything.
70, maybe the government, 70 trillion on Noah Gray.
Noah Gray finds out on social media and he's like, oh fuck, somebody
drops every ball. He's so nervous.
On me. Yeah, he's terrified. Because he knows if somebody loses $7 trillion, they're going to come kill the guy. You know what I mean? It's going to be tough for him. It's not
like Mattress Mac coming at you over $3 million. Like no one's scared of that guy.
9-year-old Mattress Mac he walks in with the stack of cash, and he always loses, bro. He always loses. He hit one Astros World Series. Every other time he just loses his cash, but I respect him because he doesn't give a shit. He's got so much money. He's like, I'm gonna bet. Hey, honey, I'm betting $3 million on the WNBA tonight, and I'm gonna. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna walk it in cash in a giant duffel bag to the window because that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, the dude's Mattress Mac, can he not get an account where he's able to bet $3 million? Like DraftKings not do that for him? He's got to roll up. Well, he's old school. He probably wants that bag of cash. That's probably the way he wants it done.
Love it. Got to respect the game there. He's probably got kids who are like, Dad, can you leave us some money? Nope. Throwing it all on the Philadelphia Eagles. I haven't even seen who he's bet, but prop-wise, coin toss, heads or tails?
Tails.
Okay, I'm going with tails as well. Gatorade color.
Red.
Can't be purple 3 years in a row, right? It's been purple 2 years in a row.
Has it?
2 years in a row.
See, you're over here grinding the color. I props to you, dude.
2 years in a row, it's been purple. Did the Chiefs win 3 with purple?
I mean, but maybe red's such a basic bitch answer. You know what I mean? Maybe, it's red because of the Chiefs. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking if it's been purple the last 2 years, purple's got to be minus 300 then, I would think.
I haven't looked at the numbers on it, but I know
it's the lemon lime. I'm going lemon lime. I'm going with the yellow.
Lemon lime is the worst flavor of Gatorade.
It's the best flavor of Gatorade.
I hate it.
What? Bro, it's the best Gatorade flavor. No. What are you even saying?
It tastes like piss.
You changed, dude. You used to be cool. You've changed.
Well, that's our last show because we gave up after we fought over lemon lime Gatorade. No. Give me the frost.
Crazy comment, but I respect it. Everyone has their own palate.
Oh, shit. Yeah. I hope it's lemon lime and Andy Reid gets covered in piss-looking Gatorade. And then I can be like, Drew thinks that's the best Gatorade. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's how we'll
No,
end the
I'll be
Super Bowl.
cashing, so I don't give a shit. I'll be winning twice.
Are there numbers on FanDuel? I didn't even look.
I don't not for stuff like that. I don't think.
Yeah, we gotta probably go somewhere else.
Yeah,
for
I think
those.
those are like more like the you just get a buddy and see like I want to be able to bet on like the song like at halftime.
The length of the national anthem, like something good like
dude,
that.
those are like the electric bets. But I guess
I
I've
wanna
always
say-
just made them like buddy to buddy. Like I'd just be like hanging out with you and you'd like set it. We know what the line is, but and I would just say like, and you take the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I haven't
bet
like
Oreos
actually
with
like
my kids on that last year.
yeah, like I've been able to actually do that like legally, which is
I want to say it
unfortunate.
was BetMGM had the Gatorade color last year.
Did they?
Yeah.
See,
And
I'm down
BetMGM
to
just
I'm
offered
down
me
to
a
just
$20,000
using
credit
the
card.
main two,
Bad
dude.
idea.
I'm
You
just
what?
down to using the main two. I'm just
Yeah.
DraftKings and FanDuel now.
Yep, that's about what I got. Bet365 every now and then. But
Yeah.
hey, Prize Picks. Try to make yourself legal in Ohio by Sunday because.
Maybe some college props too. Maybe you could do some
Yeah.
of that while you're at it.
But instead, we're going to hike up taxes. But yeah, Prize Picks has an offer for Patrick Mahomes over half a yard, and you can bet up to $100 on it.
Remember those days when we first got FanDuel and shit?
Yeah,
That's what
why I
they
want
were.
Prize Picks. Give me
Yeah.
that so I can get some money and then take it out and put it in FanDuel.
Like,
I was
Joe
doing.
Burrow over 0.5 yards plus 100.
Check.
And it'd be like hell
Max
yeah,
bet that bitch.
yeah, that's like how I like originally built my account, and then
Yeah.
ever since then I've just won 53% of the time to where I continue to let this thing go.
I'm sitting about 47% of the time. I'm not as good as you at this, but that's why you are Ward's Wagers, winning your NFL bets all the time. Now, before we get out of here, Drew, what's the best Super Bowl ever?
I honestly think it's the Atlanta in Patriots Super Bowl. The
Super Bowl 51, the 28-3.
Yeah, I'm not good with the number of the what year is Super Bowl. Yeah. So I mean the 21-3 was rough.
Yeah.
And in Atlanta, looking back on Atlanta, just shot themselves in the foot because they kept just chucking the football. And it was like they could almost have just somewhat sit on the ball and probably have a different outcome, but they had great receivers at the time. But yeah, that's probably but it's like, damn, dude, that Marshawn Lynch Patriots Super Bowl was crazy as well.
Malcolm Butler at the goal line.
Yeah, like those two
Super
are
Bowl 49.
and they both include the Patriots because they were in all of them. But yeah,
Dude, you look at a lot of the
those are
greatest
two
Super
big
Bowls.
ones.
Tom Brady's first Super Bowl, Adam Vinatieri kicks a game winner, and that was against the greatest show on turf, who looked unstoppable. Hell, the greatest show on turf's first Super Bowl, 23-17, where Mike Jones, Mike Jones made the tackle on Kevin Dyson to end that one with Steve Air McNair.
Dude, that was
rest in peace.
Such a good Super Bowl,
Yeah.
man. See, now you got me reminiscing. That Super Bowl though, that one, I was like I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I was watching it and I remember I was rooting for the Titans. I think I might have cried, or I was rooting for the Titans. The Rams, excuse me, and the Titans, won. And I think I might have cried after that Super Bowl.
Steve McNair was so cool. Like, he was so different to see for us at that time.
Dyson got tackled right at the 1 yard line, dude.
Yeah. Mike Jones.
Who?
Yeah. Thank you for doing it that time. I did it the other 2 times. Like, I ain't doing it 3 times.
Sorry. Sometimes it takes me a minute.
Once again, boys and girls, little kids, that's some oldies we're rapping for you. You can find out his phone number, too.
I will say that the kids probably don't. Mike Jones, that it wasn't that great. we just
it was cool for a little bit though.
He just kept saying his name over and over, and we were like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, Mike Jones."
Also, Mike Jones was cool until Paul Wall started rapping, and Paul Wall took it over because his verse on Still Tipping.
Maybe I don't want my kids to know what we listen to.
You don't want him dancing to "Get Low" by the Yin Yang Twins, Little John.
No, and I don't need
Down
Paul
ski
Wall and his grill.
Paul Wall still got the grill.
Of course he does.
He's
that's all he owns. That's all he owns. He's actually bumming on the streets of New York, but his grill's worth $300,000.
Listen, you know he's not in New York. He's still hanging in Memphis.
Yeah.
I think it's Memphis. I don't know.
I don't know.
Memphis popped in my head. It's got to be right. Okay, anyway. Chiefs, Eagles. Super Bowl 57. That was a pretty damn good one, too. Remember, 24 points second half for Kansas City. Butker hit that field goal from like 27 out to put him up, and then Bradbury got the holding call, which started the refs being on the Chiefs' side.
Yeah, it was a BS call.
Yeah. What about the helmet catch?
Can I say something?
Yeah, it's your show. You do what you want.
The Bills got hosed by the line judges. They got 2 first downs in 2 plays. You
can't get a yard as Josh Allen, though. Do you deserve to be there?
I just here's my thing is like, at some point they got to go to like some better yard. There's got to be like a chip in the ball, right? Can't we put like a chip in the ball?
They're talking about that.
Well, they should have been talking about it for 10. Like, these technology is new. I don't know. It just something you said this pissed me off again, and not you personally, but Josh Allen got that first down.
Make it clear as you're that big. Like, don't put it in the ref's hands. Obviously, it was, but don't put it in the ref's hands.
It's so hard, dude, because like the ball, like, when it hits the ground, it moves. Like, so like guys are moving the ball physically under the pile, and it's like in you have forward progress. It's like the refs are never going to be able to get everything right.
But even with the chip, how do you determine when that ball stopped moving?
I don't know, Jeremy. I'm not that smart. That's a technology they got to figure out.
You got to put chips in their knees as well. So that way you know when the knee's down and
elbows. And elbows.
Yeah.
And we need elbow chips as well.
It's just a whole bunch of, hey, NFLPA, get ready for injections. You thought COVID vaccinations were bad. We know Aaron Rodgers is retiring now.
We're going to put a
this
chip
ain't
in
happening.
your knee, in your elbow, inside your forehead.
When you think about it, though, like when you build stuff, you don't use the old school level anymore most time. Or like when you're putting something on the wall, use a laser level. NFL is still using old school. Let's use a laser, some kind of thing here. Eventually, I think they do it. I think they'll start messing with it. But who knows?
But again, refs are going to miss shit. Like that's it happens. Like I don't know, like why everybody gets so upset.
Or make every play available for expedited replay.
Yeah, or just send it over to Larry, the Eagles fan's house, and let him determine the call. Like, you can't make them all reviewable, but it's like, God damn it, I want those main ones, you know, the ones that feel wrong to me. Like at home, I want those reviewed, but like you can't pick and choose.
If you do the expedited replay where they don't even have to, you know, where they don't have to stop the game, they just, hey, call down, hey, that's wrong, let's fix that. If it's that quick.
Well, dude, you see a replay and you know right away. You're like, okay, that's this call or this call.
Which is why them doing the expedited replay this year was great. Right. But they should do it for every replay rather than the one where we got to sit there and we got to watch them in the thing.
Bro, that's another thing.
Or NBA. Don't even.
Why are we looking in 3-inch in monitors that have dial-up internet? Like why are these things like they looking at these shit? Like, remember like when your grandma had like the TV that was like a whole entertainment center in a TV and it weighed like 700 pounds? Like that, they're looking at a 3-inch screen that looks like that. And it's like, just let New York call it. Why are you
exactly?
I don't need 6 guys. Ooh, we don't know. I can't really see. Can I get into that 3-inch screen that we're looking at? Like, what are we doing, dude?
All their faces stuck together.
Yeah,
it makes no sense. Yeah,
so we both got the Chiefs winning. That's on me.
No, that's what we do here, and that's what makes the show fantastic. This was our big game bonanza. Fun show as always. We got all kinds of stuff. Anything else you wanted to bring up, get off your chest?
What are you making? What are you doing for the Super Bowl?
There we go. I will be home with the girls. We're having nacho bar.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to do some carnitas. I'm going to do some regular ground beef tacos for them. We'll get the jalapenos. I'm going to make some queso, some pico de gallo.
Sounds great.
I'm going Mexican. I was going to make tortillas, but we're big fans of On the Border tortillas, and Sam's Club's got them $3.48 for a big-ass bag. We're rocking with On the Border tortillas.
I told you I transferred to Costco.
Yeah.
And
how's Costco going?
It's the same fucking thing, bro. I swear it's basically the same thing. Like, even the source setup's the same. Like, I don't know. It's fine. It's whatever. The one thing that pisses me off, and I'm sorry to end the show like this because this has nothing to do with anything.
No, because you brought up the last segment that I almost forgot about, but we can go ahead.
They don't have Lunchables, and Lunchables would make my life very easy because like it's way easier to pack a Lunchable and then do some other shit, and then I don't have to make sandwiches and stuff. But like what they have is like Lunchables, and it's like this fancy ass shit. I get 6 instead of 12, and it's the same price, and it's got like beets and shit, like healthy shit. My kids don't want that. They want the 97 time processed ham and some cheese that sucks too. But really, all they want is that damn Butterfinger in the bottom right corner.
The crackers are pretty dope too.
So I don't know, man.
Sam's Club has
Lunchables. What's that?
No? Sam's Club have the Lunchables?
Yeah, dude, and they sold them in bulk, and I got them for like 80 cents a piece.
All right. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Probably not here. We'll discuss it in a second. But what are you doing? What are you making? You going somewhere?
No, I don't think so, dude. I don't think so. Like everybody asked me to have a Super Bowl party, and I was like, "Well, if the Lions play, I don't want anybody in my house because like I would not want to watch the game with anybody." But like now that they lost, now I'm just pissed, and so I didn't even invite anybody. So I'm just gonna be here. You know, nice. I'll make some wings. I'll do some bacon wrapped chicken with some hot honey and some hot honey rub on it. That'll be good. But that's probably it, dude. I'm not doing anything exciting.
Are Super Bowl parties overrated?
Yes. Because the problem with me is like I love football.
Yeah.
You get in a party scenario and it's like, you know, Kim over here is like, oh, that was the funniest commercial. It's like I don't give a fuck about the commercials. I just want to watch the football, right? And the other thing that pisses me off is the halftime's way too damn long. And I don't need to see, but it's like when you watch, like I could never, if the Lions ever made the Super Bowl, I would never watch it with people. So be, oh, that's okay. And I'd be like, I want to throat punch you right now. I don't want to talk to you. But they are so overrated because most of these people don't even care about football. And then they're rooting for stuff that I bet against and they're rooting for it. And it's not good. In any big Lions game I watch by myself, I went to Michigan to watch the Lions Commanders game. And I was with great people, my cousin, one of our best friends, and they lost. So I'm just not going to hang out with people watching football anymore.
Dude, and you get the guys who you're like, okay, these are some dudes, we're going to talk football. And then you get the one guy who walks up to you, you hear the announcer, it's 3rd and 2 here on the 2-yard line, 1 second before halftime. Crucial play. They got this. They can score on the next drive when they get the ball after halftime. Huge play. So how are the kids doing? I don't want to tell you about my kids on a clutch play here.
There's no situational awareness.
I don't give a fuck about your kids, Tommy, all right? Like, I'm sure they're great.
I honestly don't give a shit about my kids right now. I just want to watch this play.
My favorite Super Bowl party ever, I was with my ex-father-in-law. We didn't talk for 2.5 hours. We watched football. The game was good. We didn't say shit to each other. After the game, we talked about the game. And then I went home. That was a fantastic Super Bowl party.
See, like every time I hang out with people now, it's like they all have bets in. So it's like we're all like rooting against each other almost. It's like, oh, there's 4 the 27 yards I need. And it's like, why didn't we just do like a group parlay? Like, why are we where we are? But
bets make me a worse person. I watched your Pistons against my Cavs last night.
That was
Darius Garland hit that game-winning 3. Hang on. I was pissed Darius Garland hit the game-winning 3 because I needed 2 more points from Jalen Duren and I needed 1 more assist from Darius Garland. So when he hit that 3, rather than being like, yeah, they won, hit it from the logo, I'm like, I really wanted overtime. Because you blew a 10-point lead in the last minute.
You know what's back-to-back nights? Trey Young hit a 3 at the buzzer the night before. And then Garland hits a logo ball on us the night after. And it's like, damn, dude. It's tough.
Hey, you guys got Dennis Schroeder today, though.
Yeah.
Big things going on in the
I mean, the Pistons are decent. They might make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Kate Cunningham, real good. Real good at
that he is. I had him for over 25 points because somebody texted me not that long ago. 25 plus points for Cade is a lock. And I'm like, you know what, Drew, that's a good bet. I'm going with that one. And I did. So
he's an all-star.
Thank you.
Yeah, by the way, he had 12 at half.
Yeah.
So, and he ended up with 36.
Yeah, and Garland had 7 in the first 3 quarters, gets hit in the face, and then all of a sudden blows up in the 4th. That game made no sense, but it was fantastic.
NBA.
Anything else NFL-wise before we get out of here tonight?
Man, that's all I got.
All right. I will be texting you here in a second with some Myles Garrett news I have that I'm not going to go out completely in public with, even though right now 0 people are watching, so I could probably say it, but who knows who's going to watch this eventually. But yeah, with that being said, we both took the Chiefs. This was a fun show as always.
Yes,
For
sir.
Drew, I'm Jeremy. And remember, as always, if you live the life you love, you'll love the life you live. Good night, kids.